That's not to say that they're not here. So let's go and investigate the sort of northwestern corner of Djuma, as it sounds like that's where the Avoca males have been hanging around. So we'll start there. Then there's also a good chance of seeing Hosanna, who James was adamant that he was in that drainage line, and I'm pretty sure he was too. This morning I had my nose right down onto the ground, staring at tracks, wondering if those were leopard or hyena tracks, but the sand is quite thick and soft in camp, and it wouldn't surprise me if he came prancing, literally, but when I say in camp I mean near our rooms. So who knows, maybe I'll go from chasing hyenas out of camp to perhaps having a cup of tea. What else can we find today? Oh, I still need to find elephants. I cannot believe that I have... No, I can believe that I haven't seen an elephant. I've hardly done any driving around. So we are also heading into some areas where we should have a relatively good chance of spotting them too. Okay, just quickly checking past camp. So you might see some lights like there. It's amazing how in winter, obviously, or towards the end of winter, with it being so dry, the whole camp is so open, whereas in summer you don't even know that it's there. So that's what that light was. Waving to everybody still fast asleep, keeping nice and warm. Oh no, it seems as though the gremlins have already grabbed us this morning, so hopefully we'll be able to get out of their grasp. I'm going to send you to the tech loop for the minute. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Thank you everybody for being so patient as we sorted out those technical gremlins. Now, the Mara will be joining us. David is out. However, there seem to just still be some Mara gremlins, and you know what the Mara gremlins are like. They're worse than the South African gremlins. Anyway, so we're going to carry on going. You're just going to have to listen to me chitter-chatter while we try and find some things. So, we are on Mvubu Road now. We decided to go along Gallagher shortcut, so into, as Senzo says, into the freezer, which we literally did. It wasn't even a freezer, it was like one of those cold rooms that you have at a restaurant. And if you've ever been into one of them, you will know how cold it is. It was like that. So got to get the hands warm. So we came around, and we're going on Mvubu Road towards Buffelshoek boundary. I would just like to add that I'm impressed that I still remember the names of the roads, because if I don't drive them every day, I'll just forget. So, myself a little pat on the back. And that will also give us a good opportunity to see what's been crossing in and out. I don't think we'll stay on Buffelshoek boundary for very long. We're just going to check it back towards the signs that sort of state Buffelshoek, and then we'll turn on back into Djuma, down Gallagher, down the main road, and then see what we can find. Now, I definitely trust Louise's hearing. She has become very much in tune with the bush. Oh, sorry, little bird. No, you can go. There was a little Franklin that ran out on the road, but it's gone back into the bushes now. So I'm sure that there's maybe there were some lions here. She just said that I'm going to make her blush now. Okay. So I haven't seen any tracks. I'm still looking on the road, and it's kind of got quite a nice light now where I don't have to have my spotlight on. Can I switch the lights off yet? Yeah. Yes. No. Maybe a little bit longer because I can see the road a little bit better in terms of the footprints and the sand. Although I couldn't tell you what was walking on the road unless it was a big male lion or an entire pride of lions. Then it's very easy to tell. But might still have to get out and, you know, some closer inspections. I'm so paranoid that I'm going to miss animals. So I'm going to do the meerkat. Hands up and start searching left, right. Nothing yet. Senzo, have you warmed up yet, or are you still freezing? You're warming up, good. Ages, yes, all the roads on Djuma are named. They've got lots of names, sometimes, like I said, which I can't even remember, but we try our best. So, like I said, this one is Mvubu Road, which is hippopotamus in a variety of different African languages. Okay, nice soft sand. No lions were here, but this was not the spot. But we're just doing a perimeter check. That's always so important. There's sometimes you get lucky and you know the night before you go straight back to where you heard those sounds. The animal might be there, but it's quite nice, you know, to go the scenic way around and make your way back that side. And then you've checked some roads as well. Kind of see where the animal may have come from and follow them that way. Okay, so in front of us is Tamboti Dam in Buffelshoek. So when you hear about us talk about Tamboti Dam, it's on the boundary. We can't actually get to it. No lion tracks here. None. Okay. Up we go. Woo! Get out of that dip as quick as we can. Oh no, I think you're 100% correct in sort of asking about all the shrubs and stuff that we have here in the Sabi sand. And yes, they do come as a bit of maybe not quite a distraction, although sometimes I get distracted now by the nice green leaves on the quarries, and then I stare at them instead of actually looking around. So yeah, it can be quite hard to spot animals in summer. At this time of the year, look at how open it is. I mean, the stop. We'll try and compare some places, but I mean, even as you just look at us, but if you stay here, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I mean, I think there was some burning done, some controlled burns, but it doesn't look like this area was burned. Maybe was it burnt here, Senzo? Was it? Well, it's done well because there's like no ash, there's no nothing. So a little bit, but I mean that's also just the color of the soil. So Again, maybe a fire has gone through here just to burn in those fire breaks. But then if you look on the right-hand side, which doesn't look like there's been anything, it's still, the grass is so short. It's only like maybe less than knee-high, probably way less than that in places. And then none of the trees have any leaves on them. So it works in our favor. You can, I mean, I can probably see maybe 100 meters into that thicket. Whereas in summer, oh, you're lucky if you only see 10 or 15 meters off the road, which makes it hard. That makes it particularly difficult. Okay, let's carry on though. Still no lion tracks. Some old buffalo tracks. Perhaps there's a herd of buffalo came through here a couple of days ago, maybe even a week ago. But no cats. We'll get there though. We'll get there eventually. We'll find someone. And if we don't have luck this side, we won't spend all morning searching here, because so far I haven't picked up any evidence of any of the big cats just yet. We'll probably, I would also like to try and follow up on Tingana and see what he got up to last night. So if you were watching the sunset safari, he's that big male leopard that we pretty much spent the entire afternoon with. But that could go either way, because we actually weren't that far from the boundary. And Senzo rightfully said this morning that he could have very, very, very easily, you know, looped back around and come here. He could also be at Chitwa by now. So we'll be trying to listen out on the Game Drive radio too. Okay. Right, so we haven't had much luck just yet, but we're going to keep on scratching around here. It seems as though David has managed to get rid of the gremlins. Perhaps that's got something to do with Conrad. But finally, good morning, David, and have a great drive.
A very good morning, and Jumbo from Kenya, and we'll stop here in 1 minute. There's just a car ahead of us. Very good. My name is David, as usual, and with me today is James, the big boy. James, good morning, sir. And we have started today with a bit of technical issues, but finally we are all here. Remember, most important, your questions are always very healthy for us. If you have any comments, please bring them over. And it's a lovely morning. We have temperatures of 14 degrees Celsius and about 58 degrees Fahrenheit. James, what can you see ahead of us? Can you see just balloon taking off and life just beginning? If you pan that way, you'll see the beauty of the Mara, perfect light. And as the balloons are moving to the right, you can see just a nice herd of elephants there. James, can you see that? Very good. That is the Masai Mara Triangle. That's where we are in Kenya. And what a lovely morning we just having. Everybody's up. Hot air balloons going up in the air. Elephants feeding. Youngsters playing there. And I had promised yesterday at one point we'll be seeing the big James out of the vehicle and not with the camera, and that plan remains. He changed his mind on the last minute when we saw some lions that brought down a huge buffalo, and he said, no, I don't want to come down because I might be the dessert of those lions. James, the plan remains today, right? Very good. And Louis in the final control says that's beautiful and it can't be any better. Not sure that youngster there is. I thought she was nursing initially, but I just think she's very close to the mama. In the far background there, that is Swaneeland, that's having a toilet break. That one Ellie there, and there's ballooners. And you imagine seeing the Ellies we are watching right from the air. I've always spoken to guests and asked them how does it feel to see the wilderness in the air and on the ground, and many of them have thought seeing, you know, the Ellies, for example, on the ground has a better touch because the balloon will not stop and not much control the pilot has as it glides in the air. I remember way back we were ballooning with some guests from Spain, and we saw a rhino from a distance, and one ballooner requested the pilot if he would take them close to that rhino, and the pilot said, no, I'm sorry, and it's very expensive to fly. and the guest said, I would want a refund of my money if you don't do that. It was so funny when we thought, you know, pilots have no control on the directions the hot air balloons take. I'm sure there's a white egret or some birds there, while those are shrikes in front of that alley there. The egrets will always wait for the ellies to move the grass, and any insect that will jump will feed on them, but the shrikes got nothing to do with that. As much as they'll also feed on insects, they'll always feed themselves. Right, my plans are to try and go back where we saw the lions yesterday. On the very last minute of the drive yesterday, we had lions that brought down a huge buffalo. Those are my plans for today, and see whether we could go back there. Patricia, I'll tell you what I have noticed. The hot air balloons, when the pilots are pumping fire, I would say, or pumping more gas to the burners just to keep it afloat, it goes bzzz for a few seconds, then bzzz. So at that point, you'll notice, Patricia, the animals tend to look up. And if the balloon is very low, it doesn't have some very good elevation, they tend to panic. But once the banners stop, then they're comfortable. But I would say, Patricia, and most of the small little animals, I'm talking about, for example, the wildebeest. When the wildebeest and the zebras, you got just, I mean, those balloons, Patricia, if you look at them, what we just showed you with James, they're huge. By any standard, they're huge. And some of them will carry about 14, 18 people. So he needs to keep pumping a lot of gas in the banners. And as I say, it goes bzzz. That's too loud. I mean, even for me, when I balloon them, I tend to put my hands in my ears. And you'll see some animals panic. Wildebeest, once that happens, you see them going in different directions. Ellies or buffaloes may not panic, but you see them all looking up and like, not very comfortable. I don't know, personally, I think we invade their space. But again, you know, looking at those elephants there, you notice they just keep eating. We've got about 5 balloons I can count in there, and none of them looks very worried. You can have 3 there with James. And further to the right, there are 2 more. But if you look at those elephants and those balloons, everybody seems to be minding, you know, his business. The landing definitely, Patricia, is a concern as they land those, you know, hot air balloons. The animals, unfortunately, have to take off. There's no two ways about it. It's such a huge thing coming down, and you get the basket, you know, hitting the ground, bam, bam, bam. So the animals definitely have to give way and move. Beautiful lighting. So for any one of you who have never joined us before, we are in the Mara Triangle in Kenya. We are about 2,000 meters above sea level. And when we talk of the Mara Triangle, we talk of the Mara Triangle because it's shaped like a triangle with 3 sides, and one of the sides is the Mara River. The other side, we have a beautiful escarpment called the Olololo Escarpment, and the other side of the triangle is the boundary between Kenya and Tanzania. So the Mara Triangle borders a national park in Tanzania called the Serengeti National Park. So it's one huge ecosystem, and the animals will always crisscross from one side to the other. Currently, we have the very famous migration of the wildebeest and zebras. Elephants will say they will not migrate. They don't do as many thousands of miles like the wildebeest and the zebras, but they'll have what we'd call maybe mini migration, maybe moving from one area to another just for food. I haven't seen any wildebeest since I came from home. Trunk up, are you trying to feed yourself, or are you having a little scratch? Very good. This is great lighting, and we have another gentleman who has been away and he just came back and he's trying to do a bit of tracking. He would like to say hello or jumbo to all of you.
A very, very good morning and welcome to the beginning of the guided walk. I am Sydney and I am not traveling alone this morning. I am with Jandre, who is my camera operator, and Herbert, my game scout. We are going to try by all means and give you the best experience ever. I will be focusing much more on the eastern side of the game reserve, hoping to see Tandy. for your questions and comments, you can follow us on YouTube chat stream. You can also follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. So the weather is perfect this morning, nice and cool, no wind at all, which is the best kind of weather for trekking activities. I will be doing quite a lot of trekking this morning. Thank you very, very much for all the messages. Yes, I am back now. Thank you for all the welcome messages. So I'm just trying to look here. You know me and the tiny little stuff, we get along. I will be looking also for the tiny little animals. It's still very dry here by the Lowveld. I can see that the trees are not yet very excited with regards to the spring season. So, but hopefully anytime soon, the trees, a lot of them are going to bring some flowers. It's going to look very beautiful here by the Lowveld very shortly. So now let's go to one of my colleagues, Taylor, and see how she is doing. Maybe she's got some tracks already for this morning.
Work. Okay, I'm now leaving this area. We're going elsewhere now. I don't know, we haven't seen any leopard tracks. There's quite a bit of hyena activity, but no lion tracks either. So I was thinking, because it's been so freezing cold, last night was really cold, and then of course this morning has been cold, and I know you're all going there, it's not cold, Taylor, it's not snowing, what are you talking about? It's cold for us. We're not used to the freezing weather. All the South Africans love the warm weather. Well, most of us. Well, sometimes the odd rainy day is nice. So I think maybe those contact calls of those lions, perhaps they were still in Buffelshoek, maybe not far, but on the boundary. And it wouldn't surprise me if a decent contact call from a male lion, or perhaps even a lioness, would travel all the way through these drainage lines and eventually reach the rooms. Okay, so where are we going to go? I think we're going to go back to Treehouse Dam, and I'm going to then drive along Elephant Carcass, and hopefully we'll find Tingana, or maybe someone else. I'm happy with anyone. There's the Bushwalk team. Hello, Bushwalk team. I'm going to find them. Let's go get them. At least that'll be our first successful sighting for the day. Everyone's still warming up. It might be quite cool though. When we head down and we get towards the drainage lines, I think it actually could be quite nice. Like really, really nice. Because if I was a cold animal, and like all the animals do, they all sit on the tops of the trees. We're just going to find little rays of sunshine beaming on the leaves, and I think we'll find some squirrels and birds and all sorts of things. I wish I had a hooter to go, doot doot, get off the road. No, I'm just joking. I was loving being in the city and watching all the people sitting in traffic, and people in Johannesburg have road rage. I found it particularly entertaining. I just turned my music up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello Herbie, hello Jean-Ray, hello Sydney. How's it going?
Oh, well,
That's good.
yes, all the best.
I'm going to try and not drive over all the tracks. Anything. No, see, Herbie knows. Herbie's laughing at me because he knows I drive over the tracks. He's gone, yeah, we better get in front of this girl quickly. No, I'm going to go down to Treehouse Dam and then go look for Tingana to that side, back towards Twin Dams. Yeah, he was on Elephant Carcass. I left him last night. Yeah, so I'm going to go around, do a loop. So maybe I'll meet you that side. Cool.
We're looking for anything and everything.
I haven't even put one animal on screen. Well, 3 now. No, I'm joking. Okay, do you want to see the sun? That one I can find for you. I can totally find the sun. Here is the sun. And there's all still hyena tracks, because it's quite pretty from here. And I'm going to try to park nice and leveled for Senzo, so he doesn't have to do too much hard work this morning. We shall stop and appreciate the beautiful... Well, I suppose we did already look at the skyline. That's beautiful. It's always so pretty. So stunning. Birds are also all just starting to talk, so I think by the time we get down to some of the drainage lines, it's actually going to be perfect. Everybody would have woken up. Right, that's enough of the sunrise for today. We'll look at it again tomorrow. There's normally not too many clouds at this time of the year. Okay, let's go. Bushwalk team was catching up to us. They've got long legs, all of those men. Travel serious distances quite quickly. Daniel, yes, you spot on. The Big Five is exactly the same all over Africa. So even in Kenya, they have the Big Five too. Obviously, when it comes to the rhinos that are being part of the Big Five, we're very, very fortunate here in South Africa. We've got both black and white rhino here in the Sabi Sand. Although we don't really see the black rhino very often up in the north, but I have, which was pretty cool. So in Kenya, in the Mara, specifically in the Mara, they don't have the white rhinos. They have got the black rhinos, which is quite incredible, I think, because we see them all the time and see lots of them, which is fantastic. Okay, now I must check here, because otherwise Herbie is going to get cross if I miss animal tracks. Although I've already told him that he has to reteach me. Okay, just quadruple checking. That's most certainly the world's largest hyena. Sometimes these hyenas' feet are, or paws, should I say, are massive. Okay, scan. Oh, we've got impala coming up. Who's excited for impala? Let's see if they're fluffy from all cold weather. Oh, what's down there? Buffalo, maybe. So I'm just scanning in the distance. And I think I can see 2 buffalo bulls, but very far away and nowhere near a road, so we won't be able to get to them. But I'll show you when we get... I'll show you now what I was looking at. Are we going to see them from here? Maybe not. No. Okay, you'll just have to believe me. But here's some impala. Very jumpy. And also absolutely freezing. See how they've got their coats all fluffed up like that? See, this is a good spot now. Just listening. There's a go-away bird that's shouting. There we go. What you normally see when you go on a safari. All the time. I'm listening very carefully now too. See how they're also looking in the direction where the go-away bird was alarming. They're all so in tune with one another. And if you aren't, you could easily miss another animal trying to let you know that there's a predator around. And if you miss that cue, it could literally mean the difference between life and death. The ram doesn't seem to bother, but all the ewes are all looking down there. So maybe that's a good thing for us. Should we go and investigate? I think we should go and investigate. I mean, it wasn't a serious alarm call coming from that go-away bird. Just a bit of a chicken chatter. It could have also just been, I don't know, saying good morning to everybody. Or annoyed that it had to get up and go to school or to work. Okay. Just thinking now. If we go, I really wanted to go to Treehouse Dam. I don't know, but I think I might also now go on to Weaver. Oh, I don't know what to do, Sensor. I don't know what to do. It's too tough. Decisions. No, we're sticking to our guns. I think we're going to go to Treehouse Dam first, because I just want to see what's happened there. And then we can come back around here. There's a, I don't know what? There's a track. That's exactly what I pulled off the road for. Sensor says there's tracks. Whose tracks? There've been lots of hyena tracks. But I did see, I think I saw what you were looking at. Still hyena. Hang on, let's just go here quickly. No, now of course I cannot see anything. Hyena. Sneaky hyena pretending to be leopard tracks. I love to do that. One of the hyenas was also running all the way up the road. I try and run up this road all the time. It's quite difficult. They make it look easy though. But I'm really, really excited to eventually see Hosana. I think it's only a matter of time. Can't see all the animals in one day now, can you? Okay, up we go. Michael, oh, you know me, I like the Nkumas. I love the lions, so I would be so excited if I could see that pride again. And I know they've been around every now and then, which is great. And if I did see a couple of buffaloes scattered around, just far. I'm so sorry I couldn't show you. I just drove kind of out of the line of sight to get a better view of the impala. So that Hosana, 100%. Nice to see them, but I don't think I'll spend my entire morning searching for them. That was a really... And Tingana can see of elephants just desperately looking for something to eat, as we know there's not much around. But somebody else that's of course still searching for his animals is David, and of course he's driving around, and I think that sighting was quite far away from camp, so hopefully he'll get to them shortly.
Well, Taylor, good luck, and hopefully you're going to see the Ellis. But I can tell you from a distance from where we are, we have seen a huge herd of Ellis, and it'll be taking you there shortly. But in the meantime, we have come back to the crime scene from last night, where the Marsh Pride, lions, brought down a huge buffalo, and they were feasting on it until about 8 o'clock at night. This is the area we are in, and it's just somewhere there where they did that last night, and we can't see any sign of those lions, not even the predators like hyenas, which will always come and follow when the lions have brought a prey down. Not even any vulture on top of all those trees you see there. And my guess is, after maybe they finished eating rather late last night, they must have gone to look for some water to drink. And as the name suggests, the Marsh Pride, there's a lot of water in this area, and there's a marsh that they'll always stick around and go drinking. So what I want us to do now is go around the marsh and find out if they decided to go and have a drink. And if that's the case, and that's exactly what I want to do now. Normally many cats, after they eat, be they leopards or cheetahs or lions, after such a heavy meal, they'll always go and look for some drink or some water to drink. It's always water. They don't have any other drink they'll take. It's always water. And that's the direction we want to take you. There's a sooty chat here. I don't know how good this is. Let me just back up a little bit. There's a small little bird here. James, you see that bird on that Taman Mound there? See that guy there, James? Small chat we call sooty chat. Excellent. That is a sooty chat. Just jumping up down. They tend to eat ants. Just jumped on the other side. So yeah, it's gone. So it's gone. We also go. Alrighty. Okay. So the marsh area is not far from where we are, and that's where we'd expect to get them. Robert, good morning, and always a pleasure to hear your voice. Well, 14 degrees Celsius and 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me see. I got 3, and not bad. A t-shirt, my shirt, and my jersey or jacket, the Telao. I've worn this jacket for about 15 years. And can we cross over to Taylor
Look, 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 look. I cannot believe I like wild dogs, wild dogs. I've seen 3 of them so far. And there is a big herd of impala. They basically, okay, right, we're going. They basically run and they're chasing, well, they've herded that group of impala we saw just a little while ago. I'm going to do backwards safaris. I don't have time to turn around, so we're going to go down this next road. Also, bragging, I'm going to show the guests in front of us how good at reversing I am. I can drive better backwards. So I'm terrible. It's not great going over bumps. Are you okay, Sensor? Ah, stalled! Almost had it. Almost had it. Almost, and then I stalled, you know. Are they still going? Okay, I'm just checking. If they cross this drainage line, we might have to go around. Can you see them? How far in front? Senzel can see them. Senzel's got incredible eyes. Oh, there they are. Sorry, Senzel. Thank you. Don't cross that drainage line, dogs. Meow. Okay. Let me just tell her. They're still going along Ingwe Alley. They're still going east. Just quickly updating on the radio. I'm sorry, I'm going to just keep my eyes focused on the road so I can... They're on there. Here they are. These wild dogs can run up to incredible speeds, and it's often very, very, very difficult to try and keep tabs on them. So it's important that we have a view. They're just going straight down the road now. So I will wait for the confirmation as to which pack of dogs this is. Okay, now they've turned off to the right. Sure, this is where it's going to get thick. This is where it's going to get very dense. We're going to look at them. Oh, I can smell. Oh, no, there's no point. Okay, Sensor, hold on. Sorry. They've just gone into that drainage line. So what we're going to do... My hands are so cold. They're burning. Okay. Around the corner. We're actually not going that fast, everyone, even though it looks like we're going incredibly fast. I think I'm going about 25 kilometers an hour now. But on these windy roads, it's really quite entertaining. We need to now get across and go down Twin Dams, and I think they're going to pop out of Chele Pan. Tax, I think, goes straight towards Chele Pan. They just turned off Ingwe Alley, now still going east. I'm going to go around on Twin Dams. Just updating everybody. They move. Goodness. Impala running away, so they didn't go after that group of impala, but they also could have split the herd up. And, excuse me, what's happening? Aubrey, I'm just listening. Saxon has just said they're in Aubrey, so they must be here somewhere. They must be on Pangolin track. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Wow, I can't believe my luck. I'm always so lucky, always, with the wild dogs. I mean, I was here last. I don't even know how many sightings of wild dogs. So I know we've just had a quick glimpse of them, but I promise it'll get better. Okay, down we go. Whew, it's so cold. While we go slowly through this dip, try and warm the hands up. Okay. Where are they, Tax? So confirm us I come on Pangolin track. Okay, copy, I'll do that. I'll keep an eye, thank you. Okay, so Taxon has said to me they just crossed Pangolin track, which is that road just over here. I think I've seen them. So we're gonna drive, yeah, along Twin Dams, and I'm gonna keep an eye out. Now really this is when the winter months are in my favor, because if this was summer I wouldn't be able to see anything, and then we would have lost the dog. So we'll try to stick on the road. So you're all impressed with Senzel's holding on skills. You learn, hey Senzel? You get super grip, but also, like I said, it's the bumps that get you the most, that sneak up on you. I mean, we've all watched Tristan fall out of the car as well. So I'm just going to scan off to the right. I don't think they've crossed the road yet, but they do move very quickly. So it's the lower Sabi breakaway male and then the two lone females, says James. So fantastic, great, thank you. Sorry, I will promise I'll count these dogs. I want to have feeling back in my hands again. Okay, where are they? They're not here. No. Yes, Andrea, I just want to listen very quickly because now I don't know where these dogs are. So I'm listening out for alarm calls. Or even the dogs communicating with one another. Oh, Texas scene. Oh, there they are. Coming right here. Oh, we stopped at the perfect spot. That's for sure. Oh, so lucky. So they've just jumped onto Twin Dams Road now. There they go. And Aubrey's also zipped on around, so he's coming around from that side now. This is fantastic, and this is where you really do need to work as a team when you are trying to follow wild dogs. They're going to cross the drainage line. This could get quite exciting, just because there's a lot of prey animals that are down in here, from scrub hares to duiker to steenbok to all the things. We can't get in there though. Can't get in there just yet, but they are in the Mulwati dry riverbed. I'm just quickly watching to see what these do. We have got one right up here. Where's Tax? We just pull off the road. They're searching around at the moment. Here we go. What scent have you picked up? Nose right down to the ground. Having a good smell. That's the male marking. Very busy. This is so great. Now I'm hoping that the two females are gonna come back running this side. Bocage, yes. I mean, beautiful is one of the very many words you can use to describe a sighting when you sit with wild dogs. Again, we are so fortunate to have so many spectacular sightings here in the Sabi Sad. We are very lucky. A lot of birds now moving around there. Oh, little hop, skip and a jump. Oh, what are you doing with your leg? Oh, well, sure, we're seeing all the different behaviors of animals today. Thank you, wild dog. At least just standing still, giving us an opportunity. Okay, now where are you going to go? Do we turn back? Do we drive in the Mulwati, the drainage system, that dry, sort of very narrow riverbed? I think we're going to follow Taxon here. I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We think we'll just keep going down the road, and Aubrey is up ahead. So someone will eventually have to get into this drainage line and follow them that round, but I don't know if I'll go because there's plenty gremlins. Do you still see them? One just ran around, okay. Awesome. Well, I'm going to keep following these dogs for as long as I can. Off we go to Bushwalk to see if they found the leopard tracks.
I haven't found any leopard tracks yet, so I am right now by the Mulwati dry riverbed just to see if we're going to pick up something very interesting. I have got something for you at the stage right here in front of me. I've got one of the very much interesting tree. This is called the magic guarri. The name says it all, a magic tree. The magic guarri, I know a lot of people, they don't take this tree into consideration, but let me tell you something today. This is one of the trees which has got quite a lot of medicinal uses. And when it comes to the sexually transmitted disease, this tree is reliable. Why I'm saying so? Listen to this. This tree, when you are having problem with the diseases such as gonorrhea, gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted disease which affects mostly the sexual organs. So this kind of a disease, in order to treat it, this is what we do. We come to the bottom of this tree and then we get the roots. When the roots are dried, they look like the chili bites. It's like the biltongs. And the tasty by the leaves is very much, it's very chilly. So you can also use these roots in order to treat some other diseases apart from the sexually transmitted diseases. Because the gonorrhea not only affects the sexual parts, it can also affect your mucous membrane. So the problem can also affect the mouth. You can also get problems with the eyes and the throat. So in order to treat those kind of problems, we can come and have the roots from the magic tree to relieve those kind of a problem. And it works very nice. So I'm just now trekking Heby's tracks as he is now already in front trying to get something for us interesting on the ground here. So here by the here by the Mulawati drainage line, these trees that we are seeing here, these are the trees which are getting quite a lot of benefits, because here when it's raining, a lot of water is flowing, and after the rainy season, there's still quite a lot of water underground. These are the kind of areas big animals such as elephants are coming and dig in order to get some water. Not here in Mulawati, but I'm just giving that as an example, that these kind of areas are reliable by the elephants as a main source of water. They come and they dig here because water here is not very far away from the ground because of the sand. So if you can check the soil type here, it's very sandy. And the sandy soil, it does have quite a lot of greater pore space. The pore space is the space within the soil for water penetration. So because of the high amount of pore space, these areas absorbs quite a lot of water when it's raining. It's better than the other type of soils. This one infiltrates quite a lot of water. You can just hear some of the Francolins giving some of the warning calls. Not too sure what they are seeing on that side, but that is where I'm heading to. So we might be lucky and see something there. Maybe it's the wild dogs, because here where I am by the Mulawati is where the wild dogs has just been spotted not long time ago by one of my colleagues. Obviously it was Taylor. So I am also in the very same area. Maybe they might head towards our direction. We might be lucky with the wild dogs too. So here in the bush, we must always expect unexpected. Yes, I'm going now looking for Thandi, but I might find something interesting apart from Thandi. Not very easy here because of the deep sand when it comes to trekking. Because these animals, you know, look, when they're walking on this kind of sand, you can see here there is a track. It's not a fresh track, it's an older track for the hyena, but it's showing that it was after the rain. So because it was raining a few days ago, this was obviously shortly after that. So when the animals are walking by the deep sand, they don't develop a clear track because it's very much soft. So you only see some of the holes here. So that is why when I'm doing trekking, I don't only focus on a certain spot. I've got to go around it and trek it for a distance, checking where it's coming from and where it's going. Because if I come to the area like this and look at the tracks and take a judgment, that is going to be very difficult, because here the track is going to look completely different and it might even look old when it's very fresh. And after the rain, problem with these areas is that all the tracks by the wet areas, they look fresh, even though they are old. So those are the kind of confusion that comes out when you are doing the trekking in this kind of environment. Corona, thank you very much for such a very interesting and motivating comment. Honestly, let me tell you, I feel very much inspired when hearing those kind of comments. So I am going to try my best and give you quite a lot of more information. So now let's go back to Taylor, who is very lucky with the painted dogs. I think she's trying to reallocate the dogs at the moment.
We're just following them side by side at the moment. They're just trying to flush out any prey that's just off here. I'm just thinking if it's not really worth stopping right now because we're going to stop to carry on going. But I'm hoping that they're going to turn onto Chitwa, which is really, really open. Let's just watch it. There's a car in front of me. Can you imagine if I have a collision? Okay, here they are. Let's watch them quickly, and then I'm going to race past these guys in front. They sadly can't traverse on Chitwa, but I'm hoping that they do go. If they go on to Torchwood, we won't be able to follow them today, but there they go, just off into the distance. Right, ready, Sens? Woo! Where is everyone? It's just us. This is awesome. I did tell Dylan, I quickly sent him a message saying, "Come on, dogs!" I don't know if you'll see it. Oh, here they go. Someone's picked up speed. It's amazing how their stamina, it just seems like their energy levels never seem to run out. They've changed direction slightly now. They're going a little bit east. Could still loop around. Ah, wow, we're so lucky. And it's going to open up quite nicely now. Just got to get a gap. Jonathan, it's a funny thing with wild dogs. Here they come, right here. You know, their populations are constantly up and down, and some people I used to work for a couple of years ago, were telling me about how the wild dog population in Zimbabwe was incredible on his particular farm. They'd get up to like 30 members in their packs, and then all of a sudden something like rabies or something along those lines will just come through and completely wipe out the whole pack, or canine distemper. So they're quite susceptible to diseases. Well, there they go, just going on Torchwood, but they might turn onto Chitwa. So we also human-wildlife conflict, and you know, and when I talk about that, I also talk about the poaching and them getting caught in snares. You've got a bit of a limpy Lou. We have to change it. So that's the male that's limping like that. But he puts his foot down and he runs every now and then. Louise is now reprimanding me for saying limpy Lou. How cool is this? Look, that's a beautiful screenshot. Even better. How cool. Even better. I mean, how's that screenshot? I bet you're all envious that you aren't sitting there on the tracker seat. Imagine looking at a wild dog face to face. I can't say that I've ever done that at eye level, so I'm envious. Cool, let's go. Let's quickly jump. They're going to cross. So yeah, Jonathan, I don't know if I would say that their populations are on the rise. There's obviously plenty efforts. I mean, Wildlife Act is doing an unbelievable job to try and save the populations, and they're constantly trying to release them and create new packs and put them into different areas. But you know, there's just a constant battle. So it's always an uphill battle for these wild dogs, like I said, just with a variety of different factors. So yeah, we can just keep our fingers crossed and hope that they just keep populating. At least they have lots of puppies, but again, because they're so social, it becomes a problem. Because when one picks up a disease that is of something that's spread, you know, virally, they're all going to get it, which is very sad. They're on Torchwood. They're just running sort of parallel. We're going to stick on the on the road. I think this is Dylan. I'm hoping it's Dylan that he got the message. I'm going to stop just a little bit further ahead now, and then we'll... Yes, it's Dylan. He got it. Awesome. That's great, 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 great stuff. Well, that's always what we try and do. Try and let everybody that we can know about these kinds of sightings, because, I mean, for somebody who's come from far away to see wild dogs, spoiled to see these beautiful creatures. Off they go. And that's stunning, the way that they're hopping through. or the whatever grass is left and all the trees. Okay, let's go up again. Now I'm very worried, Louise. We are getting to a bit of a gremlin infested area. We're going towards the Mulwanini now, but you never know. Perhaps we might as well. I think we should just. They are going into Torchwood now, like sort of going a little bit further east. So I'll stop. Oh, it's hard, but they're there, just off to the right of that big marula tree. Lapwings are unimpressed. There's one of them trotting off. But just because they are, you know, just dipping into Torchwood, it doesn't mean that they won't loop back and come around this side. You know that they do like to spend a lot of time on Chitwa, and there's often a lot of prey around with the permanent water source there. Okay. Lost them now. Wow, what an incredible view. But we're going to hang around here for as long as we can to see if the dogs do decide to come back across. I'll listen out very carefully, and hopefully I'll be able to show you another view. But I'm going to send you back across to the Mara with David, and it sounds like he's having a great morning.
Thank you, Taylor, and well, you know, good luck with the wild dogs. And the last pack of wild dogs I saw was in Djuma in South Africa, and if I remember very well, it was around the Chitwa near the lodge, near that dam there, and it was a pack of about 15 or 8 dogs rather, 8 dogs. I can't remember the name of that pack of dogs, and it was exciting just to see them. We saw them first in the morning. I remember I was with Craig. We saw them in the morning, and they laid by the dam wall for about 2 hours. Stayed there with them, left, went back to the camp for brunch, and then came back the same day in the afternoon, and was still the Investic Pack. Thank you very much, Investic Pack. Yes, and they marched camp for brunch and came back in the afternoon, and the pack of dogs was still there. That was very unusual. Unlike other times when you have sightings of wild dogs for seconds or maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes max, and they're gone. We're very, very lucky. And thank you very much, Lou, for reminding me the name, the Investor Pack. We have a single boy of Ellie here, feeding on his own. Let's just see, how does that James look? We earlier had a big herd. He's one young bull in the beautiful savannah, as usual. Excellent, James. We have magnificent light. Very good. Lou says very beautiful. And this is, I mean, I've always compared the best times to be out on a drive between the mornings and the afternoon. And with a choice, I've always preferred the mornings. And there's a small little shrike there to the left or to the right of that boy. And I would guess, well, see that bird there, James? That could be the common physical shrike, live. Yeah. And they'll always wait for grasshoppers and locusts. That's what they'll always feed on. Thank you very much, James. And once they get there, oh, that could be the grey-backed shrike, maybe. Yeah, that could be the grey-backed shrike. James Richard, thank you very much for that update. And I think when I left Djuma, I think it should be around June, the female looked very pregnant to me. But if they have got 11 puppies, that's very good. Thank you for that update, James Richard. And hopefully, I don't know whether you know anybody who have taken any pictures of those puppies or they have been out of the den. Thank you very much again, James Richard, for that update. But that's very exciting. Maybe when I go back to Sabisa next time, I'll see big puppies and they'll be all out and around. Having maybe grown from 8 now, they'll be going close to a pack of 20. That will be quite a force to reckon with. Many thanks again, James. So picking on the green grass, not the dry one as you can see, or anything, any plant there that's nutritious for it. The tall long grass, they are definitely not of much use to this ellie. It doesn't look to be in very good shape to me, and I'm looking like it is showing his ribs a little bit, which is very unlike elephants. Yes, James, if you look there, I'm not sure that's a rib cage coming out, and you can see the pelvic bones showing there. Not sure whether he is in his best physical condition. Elephants tend to survive well, and there's no drought. We had so much rain a few months ago, and we're having the short rains now on. So I do not see any reason why he shouldn't be fat and good looking with all the food around this area of the Mara Triangle. Remember your comments as usual, or any questions that you may have. Hashtag SafariLive are always very welcome. I would like to say, if you look at the elephants here and the ones in Juma closely, everything here to me looks big. Not only the elephants, everything looks big. Look at the elephants, look at their trunks, look at their tusks. Look at the other species of animals like buffaloes or giraffes. Everything to me here looks big, including the impalas. And it's the same species of elephants that we have here that we also find in Juma. I would not be 100% sure to explain why that is the case. The only thing I have noticed is the elephants here are more angular than the ones in Juma. But everything here looks slightly bit bigger. You look at the ears of the elephants here, slightly bit bigger. The tusks the same. The body slight, not by big margin. Look at the impalas, the rack of horns. I wouldn't know why. I'm not sure, but if I would guess, maybe lots of food, more space. It's just like human beings. I look sometimes, you look people of the same continent or people of the same area. Some are a little taller than others. Same food, same climatic conditions, same weather, same everything. But some people are a little taller than others. Some people are a little fatter than others. I would just say maybe it's just because of the geographical location, not anything else. Right. Young Elibu will move forward, and from a distance we can see another herd of elephants and see whether we can join them. Looking still for the lions that we saw yesterday that I cannot see now. James, if you allow me, it's good for us to move on. I've been doing all rounds around the marsh area to find out if those lions went for a drink there, the marsh pride, and no sign. Looking up in the air to see if we'll see any vultures circling around that buffalo or the scene of crime from yesterday. I haven't seen anything. So we'll keep searching, and hopefully we are going to relocate them. And I'm sure Sydney is still tracking. Let's find out. Ladies from Sydney.
Oh, I've got one of the very interesting plant here. This is what is called a rat's tail drop seed. You can see that this grass, it looks like a rat's tail. But if you can check, the rat's tails, they don't have hairs at the end. Why do these rats don't have tails? Because the rats, they use the tails in order to get rid of the body heat and also to generate some heat, which is very important. So this is one of the grasses I was using while I was still very young in order to get hold of the termites. This is how I was doing it. Let me show you. I'm going to just take this part of this grass. We take this part and then we do like this. And then this is very much strong, and we put this right deep into the tunnel of these termites, and these termites are going to come, they're going to bite here, the soldiers, and then when we pull it out, we're going to pull it with all the termites, and then we just take them off to the bucket and we put them in. So that's how we were harvesting the termites, and we were using these grasses all the time. And apart from that, this grass is one of the biggest hosts of the pepper ticks. So the pepper ticks here by these hairs that I've taken out is where they are stuck and wait for the host to come. So this one is the first host. When I come, you pick up the pepper ticks from this. So you must have to avoid these every time when you are in the bush, mostly by the summer season. Pepper ticks, a lot of them, they like this kind of red tail drop seed. Animals, they do eat this kind of grasses when they are still young and growing, but when it's having those kind of hairs there, it's difficult to digest. James, you know, where I come from, we were doing a little bit of hunting, but not hunting big animals, hunting small animals such as rabbits, and we were also hunting animals such as the duikers. So in the mornings at 4 o'clock, we used to go out with dogs and then we look for these animals. So that is where I learned some of the trekking. But apart from that, I have been to the trekking college. I did some of the trekking qualification in 2007. And from there, I upgraded my trekking skills as well. And now I can do trekking very well. Yes, there is quite a lot of trees that we can use in order to lower the blood pressure. And some of them, they are wild trees, and some are even flowers. So here, if I come across any of those kind of plants before we finish with this guided walk, I'm going to share with you and also show you the application. Application on some of them is very easy because you just have to come and eat some of the leaves. Yes, some of the leaves can be very much bitter, but you know, the medicines, even the real medicines, some of them, they are not very much tasty, but we drink them because we want to get healed. So some of these leaves, they are also very much bitter, but they work very nicely and they will help you when it comes to the blood pressures. So you can see here the elephant was digging. It's just that it's difficult to get hold of the roots of this. This is the tree that I explained about earlier, the magic guarre. And I hope one day we're going to find the elephant uprooting this tree so that you can see very well how the roots looks like. Because I've been talking about quite a lot of trees and the roots, but to see the roots is never easy. I must have to wait for the elephants to do their job. Erlinda, yes, the magic guarres, you can come here and do this. You can come here and take the leaves, mostly the dry leaves. If you come and take the dry leaves on this, and then you squash them. You squash these dry leaves, you squash them, and after that, if you've got a wound, like somewhere here, you can stick them against. This is going to serve as an antibiotic. But also the fresh ones, the problem is these ones are not going to hold. But sometimes, if you don't have these antibiotics, what we were doing is we just take the soil and we close that gap. So that we can prevent the flies to come in. When we injured, if there is no trees, medicinal plants nearby, we use the soil. Soil also works in order to make it dry very quickly to avoid the flies to come and bring some of the diseases. So before we get back to Taylor, I want to show you something very interesting, which is much more clear here. You can see something like 3 fingers. Can you see that, genre? 1, 2, 3. So this is from the artifact. And this artifact, he was coming here. And I know, oh, look at this. Look at the big tail. Now this is telling me something. This is telling me that the artifact left the droppings here, defecated here. And let me just confirm that, because I must have to open here. I can see the big tail here, that it was dragging the tail on the ground. If I open here, I will find the droppings. It's not easy to find the droppings for the artifact because they hide them. But here, I will find these droppings here. Because what the artifact was doing here was it defecated and then close the droppings. Not easy to find them here, but they are somewhere here. They must be maybe deep in here, because I can see that here he was not looking for a diet. Not easy to find these droppings here. But now, as I'm battling to find these droppings, sorry, let's go to Taylor and see how she is doing.
Well, we've taken this opportunity to warm up at the moment. I'm still just having a look around, but I don't think we're going to try for these dogs anymore. So it's listening to the radio. No. Okay. So, oh, but now I don't know, Sensor. I think we need to actually go back to Juma. So I was going to go into Chitwan and go around, but I'm thinking, not that I've also been paying attention and looking on the ground for leopard tracks, but there's potentially at least two leopards still on the property. So maybe we should go back and find them. But we did wait. We drove all the way up Gowrie Main and hoped we could see the dogs. But Taxon and Aubrey, who went onto Torchwood, couldn't find them. They lost them. They gave them a slip. But Torchwood is a beautiful property, and what makes it so stunning is the fact that it's filled with all these lovely, lovely drainage lines. So those dogs go down, and they, like I said, this time of the year, we know that's where the animals are doing most of their feeding, because that's where all the green, the last of the green lush vegetation is. And also it provides cover for the smaller antelope species. You'll find lots of inyala down there. You'll find bushbuck, of course the duiker, the steenbok. They'll all be down and around and in that area. So it makes sense that that's where they would go. I can't believe they didn't chase after the impala properly there, because they basically ran straight past them. Now we wave to Sheldon. Hello, hello again, hello, hello, hello. All on safari, all freezing, doing exactly what we were doing, going up and down, hoping to get a glimpse of the wild dogs. Oh, there's a very nice person that's pulled right off the road for us. That's fantastic. We can wave at them now. Ha! Jokes, I was going to wave at them anyways. Okay, so we'll go through here, back up the other side and back onto Juma. So yes, Sarah, actually our dogs, different packs of dogs most certainly do get into fights, and I often talk about the one fight I was really fortunate enough to witness. Oh, hang on, we got a white civilian vehicle behind us, and it's coming in hot. Bye. So the Toulon pack and the, what was it? Was it the Sabi breakaway pack? I can't even remember now. It was such a long time ago. Anyways, they were fighting with one another and literally running from the northern property of Sabi right to the boundary, and then running back and onto Lion Sands, and then back and forth. And this went on for pretty much the entire morning game drive. They didn't. I can't say that I saw them like sort of attacking one another. A lot of vocalizations, jumping up and down. So obviously it was just a bit of a dispute where they'd overlapped with one another. So I don't think it's particularly common to see, and that's of course just because there aren't that many wild dogs around. But very cool though to watch. It was really interesting. Got to sit there for a very, very long time. But that, I mean, I haven't seen that for ages and ages. That was years ago. Okay, oh, those are trees that are sticking out on the road. I'm still just having one more scan off to the right into Torchwood, hoping to maybe get a glimpse of that white tail, because that's kind of what we're looking for when they're running through the bush. The easiest part to see was all their white patches all over their bodies. It'd stand out like a sore thumb, but nothing, sadly. Nothing. Just quickly check the tracks. Okay, we're gonna go through. they would. And the reason for that is, of course, that white color does stick out, but then it also helps them blending because they've got this sort of tan color, they've got the blacks on them, so that also blends into the trees. And when there's a bit of fire that's gone through, you know, if they're standing next to a burnt log, they can also look invisible. And when the grass is really tall in summer, it doesn't matter too much because the wild dogs aren't particularly tall animals, so that white tail doesn't affect them too much. They're hidden in and amongst the tall grass. But remember, with wild dogs, they don't stalk their prey like lions. So we were talking about this yesterday. The dogs obviously will try and get relatively close, but then they also want to dash in towards them, cause a bit of pandemonium, single out one, and then they'll chase it down and use their stamina, and eventually the animal is exhausted and can't run away anymore. So that's what they do, rather than the self-stalking technique that lions and leopards like to use. I think we should do. Maybe we will go down somewhere around here. I don't know. I'm going to figure out where exactly we will be driving. Oh, now the corrugations, all the corrugations. And we'll sort of move back towards the Mulwati, because that's where Tingana was going. And hopefully we'll also have a leopard on the morning safari.
I would be happy to see the wild dogs bring down a buffalo. I mean, sometimes when wild dogs will hunt their prey, they'll be known to tear them apart, or before they even kill the prey, they'll always be eating it like wildebeest or zebras. I have always tried to imagine a scenario of the wild dogs bringing down a buffalo and trying to eat it before they even kill it. Anyway, we have lots of them here. And is it an ostrich there, James? If you pause there, stop there, James, maybe. Move to the left again, James, sorry. Move to the left a little bit. There. Can you pan way back there? Do you think there's an ostrich in the background there? Right there in the middle. There's something black spot there. So if you keep going, excellent. Keep going, James. I thought that was an ostrich that was looking like a buffalo. Very good. That is a male Maasai ostrich. You can see not very well, but the black and white in it, that's very good. And pink legs, pink neck. I would wonder what he is doing. I would say he for a fact, because looking at the sexual dimorphism of ostriches, it is very clear black and white. Males are black and white, as I just said, and the females are always greyish brown in color. Unlike other birds where you cannot tell males from females, ostriches are very straightforward. It's a huge herd of buffaloes here. And you can tell the grass in the background is much greener than where they are, meaning that's a marsh area, lots of water, because buffaloes are very dependent on water. They could drink or limited water. Buffaloes do not do very, very well. And that's why anytime you see them when they drop the poo, just like the cows, it's always very loose because of the amount of water they drink. This herd, my guess is anything between 500 to 700. It's massive, as the big man James is showing you there. You can tell, loads of them. Remember your comments or questions on such a beautiful sighting. Hashtag SafariLive. When growing as a small boy in the village, I always used to think buffaloes are cousins of cows. Now, the species of animals distribution between the Serengeti, Lina, and the Masai Mara is one and the same. I'll tell you, the Masai Mara Game Reserve, almost to the Mara Triangle where we are, and the Serengeti National Park, it's one and the same ecosystem. And out the dominant habitat in these two different areas is the savannah. So if you close your eyes, Lina, and I take you to Serengeti, and I open your eyes and I ask you where you are, you will not be able to tell 100%, because it's basically same vegetation, same everything, the elevation is the same, and same animals. You wouldn't be able to tell which animals are where. The only time you would be able to tell, for example, 100% is now when we have see the migration of the wildebeest in Kenya, because those ones have a particular calendar they follow every year. It's a huge buffalo there, James. And around the month of February, all of them will congregate in the Western Ngorongoro Conservation Area and the Eastern Serengeti National Park to drop the young ones. Either the first week or the second week of February, that's when they drop the young ones. That time you can tell these animals are in this particular area. And then once, the young ones are strong enough and they move and they'll come northwards. Right now, most of them are in Kenya. That's the only way you can tell what species is where at what time. You can see this one have some skin condition, something similar to mange. When they get old, that happens a lot. But sometimes, just like most members of the bovine family, you'll see them peeling off. Catch is not easy. It has been tried in Africa before to domesticate wild buffaloes. It has not worked, and the results were very fatal. But if you look at the Indian buffalo, you'll see them working in the farms, and actually even the people will get milk from the buffaloes. But in Africa, it has been tried, and it did not work very well. I mean, the animals here still remain very wild. And can you look at that male there? Look at the size of horns. And that guy has no chance of you even getting close to him. He'll bring you down in the shortest possible time. People also try to domesticate elephants way back and even riding on them. And especially I'm talking about East Africa and more so Kenya, where I come from. It has never worked very well. So it's very difficult to domesticate these animals. Not even the zebras. Sometimes we used to go out with guests out on a full day game drive and we'd get hungry. We have carried some coffee and some tea, and we would make a joke and tell the guests we forgot milk in the camp, but because we've got so many buffaloes around, we might go and get some milk from the buffaloes. And we'll tell the guest who is ready to go and do that. And nobody would do that. What I've heard from people from India is that the milk of the buffalo is much nutritious than the milk of the cows. I don't know what. I don't know whether to believe that or not. What I know is that these two species of animals are very different. Cows and buffaloes are different. As much as they look similar, they're different species and different families. All right, we're going to move on. And I haven't lost hope of looking for my lions from yesterday. It's one of these buffaloes that was brought down, and where they have gone, I have no idea, but I think they'll pop up and come out and have a drink. So the buffaloes are moving towards this direction and leaving the marsh area. If they're too long around the marsh area, they're always very careful they don't get food trot because it's very wet. So they'll eat and drink at the same time, come out, go to higher grounds, which are much drier, eat, and then maybe later in the day, they'll come to have more drink. We want to stop here for a few seconds. There's a few bulls that are very close to the road here, and as usual, looking at these buffaloes, it's a very characteristic mean faces they usually have. Look at them, James, there. Very standard faces I would say the buffaloes have, and they always look very mean. Look at that guy. I don't know what he is thinking looking at us. Tina, I do not think so, but I think they may come from the same family if you look at the lineage of the bisons and the buffaloes. But these ones here in Africa, we call them the Cape buffaloes, and I don't know whether the numbers of the bisons are coming up. And I hear either they were brought down many years ago, not sure for poaching reasons or for meat, and hopefully the numbers could be coming up. But the bisons, if you look at them, would call them the African buffaloes there, and if you look at the Cape buffaloes here, would call them the African bisons. This one had some oxpeckers on top. Oxpeckers are birds that will always be on top of such big animals. Back in America, or do you think they're friendly looking? But to me, as far as I'm concerned, the buffaloes will always give you that grumpy look. Look at that one there. In the village where I come from, when we consider human-wildlife conflict and the number of people who are killed by wild animals, yes, says that one, like, well, just moved away. And we have noticed buffaloes killing more people than any other animal where I come from. So they'll keep feeding as they move on. Once they relax with you, then they're fine. So we're going to be moving forward and see whether I'll be able to locate my lions from yesterday, and let's find out how the trees look like all the way in South Africa with Sydney.
Oh, I've got one of the very famous tree. This bark is from the Tamboti tree. So I know quite a lot of Tamboti trees. If you can check the gap from here, from the ground up to there, you'll find them debarked. And who debarks them is the porcupine. So the porcupines, they eat quite a lot of Tamboti trees, and they are the biggest threat to kill these trees. Because when the tree is debarked around here, when all this bark is taken out, it's difficult for tree in order to supply nutrients from the ground up to the branches, and nutrients from the branches down to the roots as well as a storage again becomes difficult. So now I want to show you something. If you look at this bark, it's very much hard and strong. This is the bark which has got quite a lot of poison in it. And if you take this for firewood, yes, it's going to give you a problem. And now I'm going to tell you a story about my camera operator, Jandre. Me and Jandre have met before I came to join SafariLive. We have met in 2011, 2012. He was doing some other filming where I used to work called the Markel National Park. And during their arrival, first day, they did make some firewood from the Tamboti trees. And after that, they ate the food and they were all sick the next morning. So now, this tree, if you want to the insects, you can come and take this bark, the fresh bark, and you can just put it somewhere in order to avoid these insects coming to eat. Insects, when they pick up the smell for this, then they don't come because of the presence of the Tambotis. So Tamboti tree, it can help you a lot, especially after this the harvesting of the mealies. This is what we do because some of the insects come and eat the mealie. So it's when we take these barks and we put them in bags so that we can repel these insects which are going to come and borrow the meals. So now let's carry on and see what we're going to find. We are still on a trek looking for Thandi in the area, but so far we have only picked up a little bit of evidence, and we also saw some tracks from Tingana. So we are thinking that Tingana might be following Thandi in this area. So we might be lucky maybe before we finish. So now let's go to Taylor, who is also looking for Tingana. She is also in the very same area. We saw very fresh tracks.
That's fantastic. I know I just drove past Herbie now and I waved. I think he was actually quite funny. He was sitting hiding behind some bushes in the Mulwati. So I didn't actually hear where those fresh tracks are. Should I chat to Herbie? Any excuse to talk to Herbie. Herbert for Taylor. I was just worried. I didn't want to stop there with my vehicle if they were doing a segment. So I couldn't also see. Did you see Sydney and Jandre? Did you? I didn't. I only saw Herbie. I wasn't concentrating there. I was looking for birds. Okay, Herbie's not responding, so they must be in the Mulwati. Oh, excuse me. Goodness. It's hard to get back into those early mornings again. So, we're just going to drive around, I think. Footprints from humans. Looks like the bushwalk team is walking here. So I did do Mamba Road. Almost forgot what Mamba Road was. A little bit of Cheetah Cut line, then Mamba Road into the Mulwati, and I was looking around. But I didn't see anything. But I mean, it could be quite possible that maybe he's on a kill somewhere. But if anyone's going to find him, it's going to be Herbert. So good luck to all of the bushwalk team, and hopefully they find him. Otherwise we're going to go back and try to find some elephants. I'm also not worried if we don't see a leopard, because we're lucky we saw dogs. Oh, James, I forgot about Wilbur the warthog. Thank you for reminding me about him. For those of you who have absolutely no idea who we are talking about, he's an old fella, wise old man that, and he used to live in the burrow that Gwen the hyena used to live in, but then he chased Gwen out, and we've seen him a couple of times wallowing just on the corner of Chitwa. I've seen him actually all over, just up on the sort of the most southern point of Djuma. And he's a funny fella. Because he's quite old, he's got big tusks, he's a big ball, but he's missing the tip of his tail, so he's quite easy to sort of spot. But I don't know if we'll see Wilbur. We'll keep trying though. I'll keep doing loops around that area. There's no water there though, so we need to find where the next wallowing pan will be, the next closest spot, and maybe start searching and checking around in that area, and then we'll get lucky. What's that? I haven't really seen many birds today. I was hoping we were going to be able to do a little bit of birding, but I can hear them now. Let's see if we can find them, because it's gone quiet. Who? Scoobit? Who's Scoobit? The baby lapwing at Voyatella Dam. Ah. Okay. Interesting. Lots of new friends to sort of meet. There's a hyena track, so we're not going to worry about them for now. There's birdies. They're all tweeting. All singing along, but I can't see any of them. I think what's happened is that most of them, I can hear a kingfisher, brown-hooded kingfisher somewhere in the distance. There's a lot of these little birds are the kind of birds that are sort of sitting mid-level in a tree, so it can be quite difficult to sort of spot them. That's where you hope that you just sort of arrive, and as you arrive to the tree, you see a few branches bouncing about, and then you can find them easier. We'll keep looking. Not one bird sunning itself. I was wrong. Obviously they've all warmed up now and gone about their day. Also the sun is really bright. Okay. I suppose the sun is bright all the time, hey? My eyes have not adjusted. I've been lived with sunglasses for the last 10 days. Maritza, now, there's lots and lots of things that can be quite challenging when it comes to becoming a guide. I think one of them must be learning the art of tracking and trailing animals. I mean, that's particularly difficult, and it's also one that I think it takes the longest to learn. It takes years and years and years, and even, you know, people who have been tracking for 10, 15 years, they're still learning new things as they go along. So I'm going to go ahead and say that. This can be quite difficult, trying to keep the car on the road and also talk to you in the camera, obviously, but looking back at your guests, because it's very important eye contact, as you can imagine, and also for your guests to be able to hear you. So learning to project your voice loud enough, so not that you're screaming at your guests, but just loud enough so that also the people sitting right at the back of the vehicle can hear you too. So I remember when I first started guiding, I could not do what I'm doing like now. I used to have to stop the car like this, switch off. Yes, Bethany, it's, you know, a really great sunny day, and then I'd stop and have a whole conversation, then I would start driving again, then off we go, and then someone, oh, no, one more question. Yeah? No, I'm joking. No, obviously, you learn to get past that quite quickly, but it definitely is a challenge. I mean, even now, every now and then, you'll see all of us will be driving, and then we forget to concentrate, and then Senzo has to shout, "The road!" Because we're about to drive off and into the Mulwati drainage system. Doesn't happen too often, but it does happen every now and then. So, yeah, there's so many different elements. Also, becoming comfortable with the vehicles. A lot of people who've become guides haven't necessarily had any sort of off-road driving experience, although most of the time we stick to the main tracks, but it's also quite daunting driving big vehicles around when you've been, just been driving around in the city, really. So that can definitely be challenging. Reversing, it's hard, but you get used to it. I think that's also a very important skill that every guide should be able to reverse fairly quickly, because if all of a sudden an elephant or something comes charging out towards you and you can't go forward, you've got to go backwards. You need to make sure you get out of the way. Not that that happens very often, but you always have to be prepared for any situation out here. Potentially these are all wild animals, and any situation could go pear-shaped. Like I said, though, they very rarely do, as long as you are, of course, respectful of the animals and are able to sort of read animal behavior. Hello. Beautiful herd of impala here. From rams to some ewes as well. But this seems to be the bachelor herd just off to our left. Just sort of hanging around the outskirts of a breeding herd of impala. There's quite a few actually that are missing the tips of their horns in this herd. I'll show you another one in a minute. And that's just from fighting. Remember, we have just come out of rutting season, or a couple of months ago. So maybe some of them are recent sort of knocks to their horns, or perhaps they've been here for quite some time. It still just amazes me as to the horn size difference from the impala here in South Africa versus the impala in the Mara. Maybe David will be able to show you an impala at some point during this drive for all the new viewers that haven't ever seen. So the ones that we're looking at, these are fully grown impala rams. And look at their horns, and they're impressive. But wait till you see the ones in the Mara are unbelievable. That looks like it might be a youngster, still growing there a little bit. We're only a couple of years old. And of course the insects are all out and about, annoying the impala as they normally do. Now, we spotted some elephants in the distance a little while ago. Well, I'm hoping if we go back in that direction, maybe we'll find them at Treehouse Dam. But David has beaten me to it, and he is the elephant whisperer.
I have a bigger number of Ailey's here than maybe what Taylor must have seen. And I was with her a few days here in the Mara, and the only one thing I would want her to find out for me, the impalas here are slightly bit bigger than the ones there. But what I would want her to find out for me is about speed. If the impalas there run and the impalas here run, which one would be much faster, the ones in South Africa or the ones in Kenya? That bit I do not know. And when we look at the collective nouns of animals, whoever said a parade of elephants, I think that is a very good noun for elephant, because what you're watching at, there's a negrette behind them there, that's white bird, you see the neck, is a parade of elephant. Majestically marching towards the marsh area. You can see all the green there. And all the white birds you see in the background there are egrets. And look at how clean their tusks are compared to maybe to what we saw yesterday. For those who are watching, not least because of the rains that have cleaned all their tusks, and I would imagine elephants not having any homes or shades they would go for or shelter from the rain. A few of them, that one doesn't seem to have very clean tusks, as I'm saying of the rest, but most of them are clean, looking very white. That one have like a broken tusk. The left one looks a bit broken, and it's the lead in this parade of elephants. I would just guess maybe this could be the matriarch. The elephants are very matriarchal, and will always have one female or one cow that is in charge of the whole herd. And they're all marching. None of them seems to be eating. They keep lifting up their trunks, but they don't seem to be bothered by eating anything at the moment. They have a destination. Look at that tiny baby. And either first cousin or big sister is pushing it. They're like, keep going, don't stay behind. Very intelligent animals. And of all the big African animals, elephants are my favorite animals. And mainly just because of one reason, their intelligence. Catherine, great comment. That they always look like they're smiling. Yes, unlike all other animals, which never be sure whether they're smiling or not. And I agree with you, Catherine, that yes, elephants are always smiling, good looking. But most important of all, Catherine, elephants are always doing something. The moment you get one elephant for maximum 5 minutes, doing nothing, 5 minutes, something's very wrong with it. But the movie which we saw earlier, if you may first go to that ostrich, thank you very much. Excuse me. Now it has better, we've got better visuals of it than before. And this is the largest bird we got in Africa. And look at those drumsticks. And yes, Lou in the final control says awesome. Joy, that's a great question, and I will tell you, you'd not be able to see, look at the two of them together with the Ellie there. You'd not be able to see the Somali ostrich in the Mara. We got two species of ostriches in East Africa, or to the whole of Africa. This particular one that you have on your screen is called the Maasai ostrich. The Somali ostrich, interestingly, you only see it in the northern part of Kenya or on the northern hemisphere. That is the north of the equator. And some years back, I would say some 20, 25 years back, some, ornithologists tried to introduce the Somali ostriches to the south of the equator and in an area called Lake Nakuru. And apparently, after 3 months, they all died. And nobody knows for a fact why they died. But you'll not be able to see the Somali ostrich where we are. Here you only see the Maasai ostrich. And I was talking about the peak, and that's only the males. The females will not change their colors. I'm trying to get hold of an ostrich. I should be able to show you one now. And hopefully those who have not seen how a Somali ostrich looks like, I'll show you in a minute. And it's a very big difference between the Somali ostrich and the Maasai ostrich. Males, same, the black and white. But when you look on the legs and the neck, they are always bluish in color. And James, if you allow me, let's see how the light looks here. On my book, left there, I'm talking about number 7. I don't know whether, if I lift it up, James, whether this is making a difference. This is any better on the left. Also, the black and white on it, right there. See the difference in those two? So this one here that I'm just pointing, the pink, is like exactly what we are seeing now. That's the Maasai ostrich. But what I'm trying to say, the black here and the white here, it's more bright black, bright white in the Somali ostrich than the Maasai ostrich. So you only get the Somali ostrich in the northern hemisphere, that's north of Kenya, and the Maasai ostrich, I would say, south of Kenya, all the way to Tanzania, all the way to South Africa. All right, the females, apparently for both species, are the same. And I'm going to point to one of them there. That's the one there. They are all the same. All right, sometimes I've seen ostriches eating spiders, and maybe Sydney might be talking of spiders.
Oh, I've got the tropical tent web spider here. You can see a very nice structure has been done. And this structure is not just for shelter. It is there in order to assist the spider in order to catch the food. Spiders are part of the sit and wait predators. So I'm just trying to check if there's something inside here, but it's cooled very nicely there. You can see that one, it has been folded. So maybe that is what the spider is using. It's kind of a sack. Maybe it's hiding in there. So now the question is, these spiders, as they're living in these webs, what happens if one of them lose the limbs or one of them lose the legs? Spiders, they are very much well gifted. These kind of the arachnids, spiders are not insects, they are arachnids. So these arachnids, if one of them breaks legs, they've got to go through different stages of their life cycle, which are called instars. So they've got to go on Easter's when it's left with at least 3 stages in order to finish the life cycle. So it means it can be able to regenerate the lost limb. And this is how it works. There is a process called metamorphosis, which is meta means change, morph means shape. When they are going through these stages of metamorphosis is when they are changing. So now, during these changes, this is what is going to happen. If this one loses a limb now and is left with 3 cycles, so you must check that limb is going to come out. But if the limb comes out when it's left with 1 cycle, the limb is not going to look the same as the original. It has to go through 3 different stages in order for the new leg, to look like the original. So when these kind of arachnids are going through molting, it's not only about the increase of the body size, it also helps them in order to regenerate some of the lost body parts. Interesting. So I haven't seen quite a lot of spiders this year, but maybe now, after the beginning of the new rainy season, we might see quite a lot of spiders. I do love spiders. Oh, there's something here. I just want to see where this is coming from. Not too sure what it is. It's coming right from underneath. There's quite a lot of seeds I can hear there. So I'm not too sure what this is. So this kind of seeds, when they're making noise like this, I want to tell you the story. So we used to collect sand, and we put this sand inside the empty juice bottles in order for the sand to make noise. When we are doing some traditional dance, when we are dancing like this, we will be having those kind of the empty juice bottles with the sand, and this sand is going to make noise. And this noise I'm hearing here, it reminds me of those kind of noise. So when we're dancing, then you hear this, and this exaggerate the noise as we are dancing. Interesting. So now, let's go to David, who's got some elephants and buffaloes at this stage in the Masai Mara.
Very interesting sighting we got here of 2 of the big 5, and you can see now who is in charge here. As the elephants are coming marching through the herd of buffaloes, the buffaloes are just giving way. I mean, the buffaloes are no match to elephants, and you can tell they're just watching them. They're moving their young ones on the side, as you got a few herons flying up there, which have been feeding on some insect. But as the elephants march, the herons also don't want to take any chances. They're just giving them way to pass, because they know once they pass, they'll be back on their feeding ground. Very peaceful to see 2 different species just mingling together as the elephants pass. And now the buffaloes are thinking, well, you guys have gone, it's our time now to pass behind you. But as soon as the elephants came close, some of the buffaloes, most of the buffaloes here were laying down. They had to rise and give them way. To me, it looked like a movie set, just to have all these animals, moving together in different directions and being totally different species. There's that grey heron there. Doesn't seem to be bothered by the elephants standing her ground. And the destination for these elephants also should be the marsh area, where they'll spend maybe the rest of the day feeding and drinking at the same time. So they came from the Olololo escarpment, which I was talking about earlier, which is much higher ground, and definitely having spent the whole day eating, it's time now for them to calm down and have different type of food maybe up there where they were feeding on grass, not grasses per se, but some leaves and some twigs, and sometimes just tearing tree barks to feed on. And the rest of the day now, they mainly will stay with, the marsh area, feeding on grass, and again, as I said, drinking at the same time. We're going to be moving forward now. We have really enjoyed this sighting of the buffaloes and the ellis, because my lions have been elusive from this morning when I started. But again, you never know. Once you're in the bush, you never say never until you're done. But I still want us to have one more quick look on this ostrich, because the last time I saw an ostrich, James, if you go back to my male ostrich here, I'm looking on the legs and the neck. They're very pink. And I spoke of the deep pink plumage. Is always for breeding, and ideally is to excite the females. And I do not know how long. That was grey heron flying there. I do not know how long. So many herons in this area, which would translate to having lots of food here. I do not know for how long it will take for the girls to see this particular male. I think he is looking in very good shape. He has every sign to look like a good male to mate with. And as soon as the breeding period is finished, all the pink you see in it, it's gone. Sorry, Lee, bring that question again. It's a bit windy there. My apologies, Lou. Either my earpiece is a problem, but I can't get your question. Bring it again. Sorry, one more time. I must have missed that question totally. Either got some comms issues. But yes, we have all the egrets flying back there. All the white birds you see flying there are the egrets, and there's a different herd of elephants at the same time. Yes, now you can go ahead. Bring the question again. Sorry, Lou. Good now. So much sorry, I totally had missed your question because the wind. And ostriches in general will tend to remain in open places. So like now they are, where we see that one feeding, and come at night, it's very difficult to see them in the thicket because they have been known to hunt ostriches. I'm sure you can see the drumstick on that particular male ostrich there. And hyenas also have been known to go for them. Leopards have been known to go for chicks of ostriches. So they tend to remain in open areas, and especially on the savannah in open grasslands. And they tend just to lay down, and they might, dig a little bit of an area with some soil, open sand, where it's warm, and that's where they would spend the night. And also they tend to lay their eggs in open areas. So it's very difficult to see them sleeping in closed or in thick vegetation. So where it is a possible place for it to spend the night. But in general, they'll be in open areas. Always feeding on any seeds they may get, any insect they may get. And what a sighting to have the ellis in the background there. I just wish today they called it the Elephant Day. We have seen loads of elephants today. And I'm comparing the white tusk with all the egrets flying out there. And having live elephants here, I think Sydney got elephant tracks in South Africa.
Whatevs, guys, whatevs.
For you so that you can see it nicely. This track is moving from this direction towards that side. So this is Tingana according to Herbert. So we can easily identify these animals just from the tracks. So Tingana has been walking from the eastern side of the game reserve going towards the western side, which is where we're going. And we've got a thought on this because Tingana has been following Tandi and Hosana for quite a while. So we've got a thought that maybe Tandi has got something and Tingana is looking for Tandi in order to get something to eat. That is what we are thinking at the moment. So we are just going to now track down this very fresh track and see where it's going. Maybe this Tingana track will lead us to something interesting. So we're going to the western side of the game reserve, which is where Herbert, my game scout, is already in front now, busy trying to get the direction and the movement of this animal. So now, while I'm checking here, in a very difficult area like this, because it's shortly after the rain and the soil is very much compacted, not very loose, not easy to track. Let's go to Taylor and see what she's got.
We might finally get our hornbill now. Oh, yes, we are. Remember yesterday we tried to start the sunset safari with a yellow-billed hornbill, and then it flew away. It was very rude, but that's all right. This is not a yellow-billed hornbill, though. This is a southern red-billed hornbill, which is still very, very nice to see. And I think the first bird we've actually managed to put on camera today because I haven't been able to find any. And off it goes. Perfect timing, because that's all I had to say about that bird. The other thing that we're going to do is maybe this afternoon is we're going to come round. We can't do everything all in one go, but I saw that some of the jackalberry trees are still bearing fruit, which is awesome. So those are always really good spots to look for birds. So when we do have a bit of a quiet safari, which we haven't had this morning, my goodness, it's been go, 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 especially with those wild dogs, well, for Senzo and I at least. And you know, we'll do something like that along the line. I do like to watch them feeding off the fruit, especially the African green pigeons. They're so funny, and they get so fat with all the fruit that they eat. They eat so much. And then on the cold mornings when they fluff themselves up too, that's also quite sweet to see. So we've just been bumbling. I went all the way up to Buffelshoek Dam, and I just stopped there briefly. I can't believe how there's no water. It's amazing. Not that it's good, but like it was pretty crazy to just see how it's dried out. So we're just sort of checking in and out and along the Mulwati drainage system now. And hopefully we will find something along here. I think we will most likely go back towards Gallagher side, maybe check down there and see if we have any luck. Let's check for a couple more birds around here. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing all of your screenshots from the wild dog sighting. Louise, who's directing, was telling me that they're awesome and they were looking really, really good. It was a very pretty scene. Very, very nice. No birds. We've had some great bird parties along here before. Puma, I haven't decided on a name for Maurice's new friend just yet. I might try and sit and think throughout. Just yet, that really grabbed my attention that I think would be fitting for Maurice's companion. So we'll keep at it. We'll keep going. I have taken it out the car though because I didn't want it to get dirty. Because we all know what Maurice looks like. Maurice is filthy, and that's just because he's an elephant, and elephants are always dirty, always covered in dust. So we'll try again this afternoon and see what other suggestions we get. No, hang on. What's it? So I thought it was the hyena tracks. So just big ones. I thought, oh, maybe a lion, but it's not. My eyes are still getting back in tune on how to spot tracks and things. Is there even any water in Chile Pan? Let's have a look. No. Dry. It dried a long time ago, says Senzo. Okay. Shame. This used to be a great wallowing spot. We used to have nice elephant sightings here. Oh well. Can't even see anything in it. Snazzy, I love that you've just called me Tay-Tay. You can't just say Tay-Tay. You've got to say Tay-Tay, like Byron when he says it. I don't think I've ever tried jackalberry jam before, but I'd imagine that it would be delicious. If I saw it in the shops, I'd 100% buy it. Can you imagine? Oh, here we go. Now I'm ravenous. Oh, okay. Nice selection of sorry, I stopped because I was so excited to tell you, of assorted sort of crackers. We call them biscuits in South Africa, but crackers perhaps. And this must be a nice gorgonzola from France. Oh yeah, all fruity, delicious. Camembert, a brie, you know, maybe even a bit of goat's cheese in, of course. Then that's where that jackalberry jam would come in. It would be really nice. Actually, maybe even that, like a pear and gorgonzola rocket salad with a little bit of the jackalberry jam. That would be awesome. I need to learn how to make jams. Who knows how to make jams? Who's got a good recipe that they could share with me? Maybe that's one of the many things that I will be doing. I'll be a jam maker. Would you buy my jam? Or you didn't have to buy it, just give it to you for free. Would you eat my jam? Yeah? I think it would be good. Can you imagine? Lou says, you'll steal my jam. Louise. Marula jam is really nice, though. There's always a jar of marula jam for some reason at home. I think my dad likes it the most. Or I actually don't know. I think everyone enjoys it. That's so nice with salted farm butter on a piece of like whole wheat bread and marula jam. Oh my goodness. Now are we going to play the game of what's for breakfast? Hey, I haven't played that in ages. And breakfast game is back, everybody. Now that we're not seeing all the animals just doing their thing and I can't seem to find them. I'm still looking for my elephants. Not my elephants, but some elephants. So, but yeah, you see, this is where it's quite difficult because I haven't been here and I don't know what's, you know, sort of been on the menu. I'm going to go with, what is today? It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday, hey. So food order day is tomorrow. So you got to play this game carefully. It's definitely going to be bacon. I'm going to go with pork sausages as well. Eggs. And maybe it's just going to be an English breakfast. Wait. Senzo says he's been just having coffee. Except Louise, because Louise wasn't there. Maybe Alex. Alex, what did you have? Bacon. Cheesy omelets. That was today's breakfast. Okay, cool. I'm just going to go with a good old fry-up. Oh, I don't know, though. I don't know. Okay, give me a few days and then I'll get good at guessing. It was quite scary at one point. So, we'll see. But whatever it is, I'm really excited to eat it either way. Where are we going to go? So we still want to look for Hosanna because he could still be around. But maybe just trying to drive roads I haven't driven. Maybe we would just go back around again, just in case. Because I know if he was at the pan, you would have all told me, and I would have raced on over there to see him. But he's obviously not at the pan. Or might just be sitting behind the damn camera. Okay, it's. I think I see some impala up ahead. My Egyptian goose just flew behind her. Aha! Hello, Crested Franklin. Oh, there's actually lots of things. There's that, and then just up and to the right on the tree line behind the Crested Franklin is one white-crested helmet shrikes. Yes, and that tree over there. Oh, there they are. You can just see them fluttering around. They're always lovely birds. We got to spend a lot of time with them. Remember the amazing sightings we did have? we were watching them catch the biggest looking for at the moment. Although, I don't know. So, the reason why I said what color is its bill is because the green wood hoopoe looks very, very similar in terms of coloration, except it has got a bright red bill. And then they've got more of iridescent sort of green to them. But that plain black bill gave it away. And then the other thing is that the common symbols are the African green wood hoopoes. The African, did I make that up? It was just the green wood hoopoo. I can't remember what its real name is. That was nice. That was a fantastic we caught from our Crested Franklies. So funny. Hilarious, hilarious, hilarious. But it seems as though Sydney is still hot on the heels of Tingana as he's found another sign.
I have got now fresh convincing evidence that Tingana is not very far away. And when I got here, I did also pick up some of the audios, some of the warning signals. The birds are complaining not very far away from where I am. Francolins are always good indicators of the presence of the predators. So here, I've got the scat. The scat is the droppings for the cats. Going to come out. When this scat is dry and dusty, you must avoid inhalation of the dust because it carries quite a lot of bacteria. But if you look at this, let me show you nicely here with this grass. If you look at this, you can see the pointing. The pointing is obviously giving you an update with regards to the direction of movement. So you can see that this animal was standing here looking at that side the time he left these droppings. So the tracks are also heading towards the same direction. So you can see that on the ground, droppings can also tell you where the animal is going to. You just have to check the sharply pointing end parts. So we're just going to quickly go down now and get hold of Herbert, who is already in front, who is giving me some hand signals that we can... AB, the leopard droppings there, the smell is very much bad. It's just that where I was very much safe. It doesn't smell nice. So Hebi is already in front here. We are trying to see if we're going to have a sighting in the area because here is where the bears were calling and we are very sure that Tingana is in the area. So now let's go to David, who's got the tallest animal in the world, the giraffe. So I miss these animals.
Well, Tingana, I'm looking at the Latin name for the giraffe, Camelopurus, and they have always thought the height or the tallness of the giraffes, like the camels and the pattern they got on their bodies like leopards. Hopefully Tingana will be found. And we got the Maasai giraffe. Now earlier we just had the Maasai ostrich, but now we got giraffes, and just like the Maasai ostrich, this is the Maasai giraffe. And being ruminant, you can tell they're just chewing cud. That to me looks like a female from the look of the horn that we saw earlier. We got 4 species of giraffes. Was that an oxpecker, James? If you go back on top of the back of it again, if you go up towards the neck, I thought there was a bird there. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. Yeah, must have flown away, but it must have been an oxpecker. So I was talking about 4 species of giraffes in Africa. So this particular one here is the Maasai giraffe. We got another species in Kenya that is not found in the Mara. You find it more in the northern part. Have a little scratch there. Looking at the height. To me, some of the most graceful animals we have in the world. Look at the height against the backdrop of the trees. Katrina, you say this is your favorite animal. You love giraffes. Perfect. I would agree with you. Who would not want to love giraffes? Very friendly. Rarely you get them having conflict with other animals. Human beings haven't gone for them so much. Not even the poachers. When you see them walking, very majestic. You never hear them making very loud voices, you know, like the elephants, as much as elephants are my favorite animals. And they're just posing for you, Tina, there. And, you know, all the other viewers, for you to enjoy that great view. Hello, Masai giraffes. Got some cars not very far from where we are, enjoying this setting. The water you see on your left there, when you're lucky and you see giraffes drinking, they'll always spread their legs out and they drink. Not sure that's what they may want to do later in the day, but it's always a very exciting sight to see giraffes drinking when they have their legs spread out. Thank you, James, for showing us that water. And just water that collects after the rains. And then as it gets drier, this water dries up and you see them going to the river to drink, especially the Mara River. Well done, James. We got some 2 geese there. Lot of great. I would say they do experience pain because sometimes you get fawns, especially you see giraffes eating some trees that we call the thorn trees, the acacia trees, and if by mistake a thorn will get in the eye, you'd see them very quickly tracking their head and an indication they feel pain. And just like human beings, when something goes wrong with them, yes, they do experience pain. If it's like a thorn also from some, say, a thorn tree coming on the ear, you can tell when it hurts because very quickly they move, you know, their head backwards, or maybe the tongue, or maybe the nose. Yes, they do experience pain. Beautiful giraffes, not eating at the moment, but I'm sure it's time for them to chew cud. And one of the advantages of the ruminants, once they have eaten enough, they end up just chewing cud as they rest. And you have so many ox pickers, as you can see there on the neck, getting the bags out from them. And once they feel irritated, you'll see them moving their ears to get them out. All right, tall giraffes, we leave you enjoying your cud and moving on. Hopefully we'll come back and see you having a drink. Sorry, Luke, what did Jason ask? In the Mara, Jason, this is the season that we call the green season, and that's the time we do not have the migration around. The migration, we are talking of thousands of wildebeests and zebras when they come here. The green season, when they're out here and they've gone further south to Serengeti, the lions are not left with many options of who to bring down or who to feed on. So they're left with buffaloes, elands and giraffes. And just to answer your question, Jason, yes, we have seen quite a number of times lions bringing down or feeding on giraffes. And like last night, I hope, Jason, you were watching, we had a pride of lions that we call the marsh pride that brought down a buffalo. So you're not surprised, like now, you know, if we don't get the migration coming this further north and they end up going back to Serengeti in the south, yes, this time around they'll keep bringing down buffaloes or giraffes. So Jason, yes, we'll have lions feeding on giraffes. A month ago, we saw the Oloro pride of lions, that's a different pride of lions, that brought down a baby giraffe, and they just devoured it in under 10 minutes because it was a small baby and there were about 14 of them together. So giraffe comes in very handy for them when the migration is not around. Alrighty, we'll move on and hopefully we see more beautiful stuff. We're watching our Egyptian geese. Where did they go, James? We still have the 2 of them earlier. We saw Egyptian geese there. There's still 2 of them there on the other side of that Bank River. Yes, and those are the Egyptian geese. and I'm sure they're feeding on the seeds of the grass there. And you can see the wind is picking up. Two of them, a male and a female. Always very difficult to tell male from the female, but you can tell if they're two like that, it'll be a male and female. And I'm sure Taylor is still searching. Let's find out whether she is winning or not.
Not winning, but I feel like we have already won this morning with the dogs. And so we're just kind of bumbling, and we're looking for birds and anything interesting. I've moved away from where I thought Tingana could be. We'll try again a little bit later, maybe this afternoon. So we're back driving around Gallagher Shortcut and Vubu Road, all these different roads around here, just zigzagging about. I haven't seen any leopard tracks, so it's so difficult to kind of gauge where, these animals, well, where Hosana could be if he is still around here. So until I can find any sign that there was actually a leopard around, I just have to loop around on all the roads and hope for the best, really. That's all. So that's what we'll kind of do. And who knows what we might see. Maybe we'll get some kudu. It will be nice to actually see a couple of kudu, or maybe some nyala, or I don't know. We'll just see what we find, really. There's not much food around here for any of the animals. There's grass, they can eat it. It's not going to be very nice though. I don't think they're going to get much sustenance out of it. And then there's virtually no leaves on any of the trees. Just a few. Everything's been eaten. There's still no luck with the elephants. Which I was hoping to get. That could be another thing that pops in for the last little bit of the show. Although we've been trying to listen this morning, listening out to see if we can hear anything. But quiet. So we shall continue to try. And now it's starting to get windy. But I suppose this is the time of the year for the wind. At least we had a nice, peaceful, still morning. Luckily, oh my goodness, Senzo, can you imagine if it was windy this morning? How icy. Oh no, we would have had to have retired. We would have hid in the Mulwati somewhere, trying to keep away from it. So at least it's really warm now. I could probably take some jackets off, but I'm still trying to actually thaw out. I've just got feeling back in my hands and all my fingers again. So that's quite nice. Ooh. Okay, so it sounds like the bushwalk team have actually just found Tingana. I don't know if we'll be able to get there in time. We'll try. And obviously, like we were talking about yesterday, Tingana really doesn't like people on foot, so he is moving away. So we'll head down in that direction. We're very far away from them, I'm afraid. It'll probably take us a little while. I think we can definitely make it there before drive, but whether he'll be settled with a car, I'm not sure. We can try. So we'll just head down in that direction then. Eventually we shall arrive. Wonderful. Very exciting stuff. Speaking of the bushwalk team, I'm going to send you back across to Sydney, and well, very well done to you.
I have just picked up very fresh tracks now showing that Tingana is running towards the Mulwati Dry River Bank, the drainage line. And right there, where I am, I can hear birds giving calls. Listen to that. And apart from that, I can see also the squirrels are also excited in the area about the presence of something. Let me rather not say excited. They are very wary about what's happening here. So now I'm just going to go in there and see. I saw one small antelope as well from where I am. Not too sure if Tingana is doing some hunting activities, but things are happening here. So I'm just going to go deep in and see if we can spot him. So you can see now that Hebi is just confirming to me that this animal is running, considering the shape of the tracks on the ground. Yeah, no, that is very true. I can see here that, yeah, it's running. You can see here that this is the track, but the form of the track is not very clear because it's running. So we are right behind Tingana here. We don't have a visual yet, but we are also going to ask Taylor to join us. Maybe he might come out somewhere further on the other side. Thank you very much for such a lovely comment, James. Maybe we will be lucky before we finish. You can hear these birds are making noise. They are calling. It seems like they are seeing something. It's just that here where we are, it is very much thick at the moment. But let's go back to Mara and see how David is doing. Maybe he's got something interesting there.
Well, we have just got some news of the Pride of Lions have been looking for, and I think two prides met last night, the Marsh Pride and the Ololo Pride, and something happened and they had a conflict. Nobody knows for a fact why, and they had a fight, and one of the females was hurt very badly, and my plan is to see whether we can get it. A friend of mine have seen it from a distance, and it's bleeding all over. It has so many claw marks, so many teeth marks, and one eye seems to have been like damaged very badly. So that's the area we want to go and see whether we might be lucky to see that particular female. But I think they must have fought at night. Either the Ololo Pride came, and yes, and Lou in the final control being, that's really crazy. It is really crazy. That rarely happens, but females will always fight just to protect their area, you know, for territory, as much as that's the domain of the males. But if two prides meet and they're females, we have seen them going for each other. That sounds a bit sad, and this particular one was left behind by the rest of the pride and they moved on. So we want to find out if we'll be lucky to see it. But like one of the eye was almost damaged, and I think that might blind it completely. And unlike other animals that will tend to stick together, I've seen elephants, if there is a concern of one getting hurt, they still tend to stick together, or they tend to move with it. Lions, this will be very strange if they'll have left this one behind and gone without it. And this is the area my friend just saw it. Let's see if we'll be lucky to see it. And she was trying to drink from here, and it has gone somewhere here to the right, and it couldn't even move. She looked so weak from what I gathered. Let's find out if we'll be lucky to see it. If James, you pan somewhere in that bush there, I'm not sure for a fact we'll see it, but it's under those trees there. Let's see what you can see. It's under those trees. That's where I've been told she has gone to. And even as she walked, she was still bleeding. Yes, there, a little bit to the right. Yes, on that tree, right below that tree there. Yes, that particular area there. Nope, nothing can see, unless she has gone further in there, just to make sure she enjoys the shade and keeps cool, which might help on the bleeding. So it must have been around that area. That's where my friend just saw it. And she kept limping like she had like a fracture on the front and back leg. And her face was all bloody. So I think it was a conflict between the Ololo Pride and the Marsh Pride. And maybe no wonder we have not been able to see either of the two prides, and nobody have seen them the whole day. For all those people who have been out driving, nobody have seen them. That's the only one that has been seen, meaning that maybe one pride or both prides have gone away in the thickets to nurse their wounds. Maybe if the fight was too big from last night, and they may not maybe come out the whole day until later in the day. Well, only one area I'm thinking we might find them now. That's where I want us to go and see if there could be more damages in the rest of the pride. And the pride, because from what we do here, we have vet doctors who will come and they will assess the injury or the damage of an animal. If I am a vet doctor today myself and I'm not a guide, in a situation I will get, say, that lioness that has been hurt, that was involved in a fight, or any other animal that is injured or sick, I would let go and leave that to Mother Nature. Of course, that's my school of thought. We got people or we got guides who sees things differently, and we have seen some game rangers or the warden calling in the vet doctors from Nairobi, and they'll come and they dart the animal, and maybe if it's a fracture, we'll either do a plaster or if it's treatment in it, and they treat them. So yes, we got vet doctors who will come in, Catherine, and treat the animals. Again, as I said, if I'm a vet doctor myself, any injured animal, I will leave it to Mother Nature. In Nairobi, there's a small little center where they take care of orphaned baby elephants and orphaned baby rhinos, and there have always been very big debate about it. Let's just get, I would say, animals are very clever, and they know when they go for a fight and they aim at the eyes, you need to see your enemy to hurt him or her. But the moment you can't see, you're going to fight very blindly, and that's going to be a big disadvantage for you. So when they go for each other, when they claw each other, they'll aim at the eyes, and you see them clawing the eyes or trying to bite the eye or the mouth. So it's very obvious when they do that for a reason, and they want to get the claws in the eyes. And the moment your enemy blinds you, she or he will have all the big advantage of fighting, because you'll be fighting blindly and you'll not be seeing your enemy. Yes, they always tend to go on the eyes. All right, lions, where are you today? It can be a whole morning, we can miss two prides, and these prides are very huge. And again, as I said, if they really had a go on each other in a big fight last night, most likely they might be nursing their wounds in the thickets and keeping cool, because that will definitely help healing them quickly. You don't want to be out in the sun if you are bleeding, not very healthy. Or you need to stay near water, for example. And if they don't come out this morning, chances are this afternoon they'll be coming out. They'll need to come out to look for food. They'll need to come out to hunt as much as they're nursing their wounds. We have seen lions, even when they're sick or wounded, still coming out and trying to get food and hunt. So lots of ellies today, lots of buffaloes today, not a single cat. That happens a lot, and that's the beauty of being in the bush. We'll always have to work hard, look for the animals. Yesterday, great day, rhinos too. Not this morning. To see two rhinos in the Mara was pretty special last night. So where are the lions? Where are the cheetahs also? These open areas are always very good countries for cheetahs. And the Mara, or the Mara Triangle, is very famous for cheetahs too, with the open savanna like this. Or any huge big birds of prey. Good weather for them to be out. Not very far from where we are. We saw the martial eagle yesterday. Alrighty, James, what do you think we're gonna find now, James? Do you have an appetite for any particular animal, James? Tell me what you want me to look for. James is telling me to see whether I can get a polar bear. Well, I think Taylor have got something more interesting than us here.
Well, maybe. We're trying. So we're not far away from the bushwalk team now, from what I can understand. I've also just picked up on Tandy's tracks, like right now, and they've seemed to be quite fresh. So I'm now trying to figure out. I can and never have been able to figure out Tandy's pattern. She always gives me the runaround, but she has a laugh about. So apparently Tingana's tracks now go down Inyala Road South. So we're here on Inyala Road South now. Tandy's tracks were coming here, just going on Central. So I'm just having a look, but then I lost them. I couldn't figure out where they went off. I wasn't also just going to jump out the car because I know that there's a leopard nearby and probably have better chance just finding it in the vehicle. There's a bushwalk team is already here and on foot. Come on, leopard, make our day. That'll be awesome. So I'm just going to drive very, very slowly along here. I'm just going to crawl, really. Check down in the drainage lines. Make sure that I don't miss anything that's maybe walking through the grass here. The grass is a little bit longer. Louise says leopard crawl. So funny. Hilarious. Okay. Here's the bushwalk team. And Tandy's tracks here on Central. Herbie's laughing now. He says, yeah, yep, she's also in the mix. So this is quite interesting. So it's promising. You know, if we don't find anything now, it's a good start for this afternoon at least. So we're just trying to figure out what's going on. Herbie's obviously analyzing everything at the moment. And it's quite an incredible thing to watch the thought process, or as Herbie starts to figure out these things. I promise you right now, the way that Herbie can see tracks on the ground, I often say to him, "Now you're talking nonsense. There's nothing here. There's nothing." And then he goes, "Look." He says, "Look carefully. There's a toe. There's a half a pad." It's absolutely incredible. I've now driven over all of his tracks, though. I did warn them, though. I did say in the beginning I'm probably going to end up doing that. But they're here somewhere. They're around. Now it's just a matter of finding them. You know what, Herbie? Do you want me to drive through? Just quickly check the old usual spots. Okay, we'll go do that. We'll let Herbie figure it out here. I'm going to reverse quick. It's tricky turn around. We'll go through Central. And I'm sure you all remember, but Tandy really does love, and she utilizes this area quite a bit. And we've seen her often just on the other side. It's where Tlalamba spent quite a bit of time too. But the tracks that I did see was just one set of tracks. And it just, what I can remember, it kind of looked like Tandy's footprints, although I don't know how big Tlalamba's feet have got. Linda, yes, just for you, if we can find Tandy, that would be fantastic. But now she could have gone two ways. She could have also gone up Inyala Road North, or she could have just gone straight through here. But I think it's always the hardest thing. My gut says one thing, but I don't always trust my gut when it comes to Tandy. I'm never too sure. Let me just check here again. Don't see anymore. Okay, so I can't see anything more now. As in, you're spot on with trying to spot leopards with I'm trying to hear what everyone's talking about now on the radio. But in this tall grass, winter season, it becomes increasingly difficult to spot lions and leopards in particular. What is Texan got? Let me find out. Tax, sorry, I've been radio down. What do you have? Oh, Okay, copy. Thank you very much. Okay, so I've just literally heard on the radio. No problem, sorry. I've been live most of the morning. Thank you very much, though. I don't know if you got the update, but the Tingana's tracks and Bushwalk team had a very brief visual of him around, I think here near Nyala Road South. I'm just driving around in the area. So, Tax has just said to me they've just got Tundi, but quite far away at Gwari Pan. So then that means that those tracks, she's come from the side and she's gone up that way. We won't make it to Gwari Pan, unfortunately. It's exceptionally far from here. So then I'm going to go back and we'll look for Tingana. But if not, that's all right. We've got a cool spots to do. Cool spots to go and check this afternoon. Okay, dokie. It seems as though Sydney is now focusing on some of the smaller things. Let's go see what he's found.
I have got one of the very, very strong evidence here on me walking. You can see this is a flea, and this, you always find them on cats, on dogs, big cats. So this one, it came to me here while we were doing some trekking of Tingana. So you can see that Tingana is very close by. This probably is coming from Tingana's body, because this is right from the bush. So these are the kind of fleas that bite. But it's fortunately here I haven't experienced anything since it got attached to me. So you can see it's right here. So it means where we are now, we are very close to these cats. So I'm convinced that we might find Tingana in this area. Otherwise this thing is going to bite me if I don't chase it away. And they're very much fast, you can see. It's not easy to catch them. I was very much surprised to see it here, and then at least where it is now is where I can see it's not going to cause any harm. So, but I will try and get rid of it here. Back to the wild. Now the flea is back to the wild. So maybe we are going to be lucky and find something interesting. Tina, that is true. That was a huge flea. You can see that is from a huge cat. That one, I can guarantee you, is from Tingana. So it's very much fresh here. The tracks and everything is showing that Tingana is trying to avoid us at the moment. So maybe when he was walking past or running, trying to avoid us, is where he lost some of these parasites. Thank you very much for that. Yes, to me as well, in the wild, it's not very easy to see the flea because they are associated with the dangerous animals. So not easy to get very close until you can see a flea. To me as well, first sighting in the wild for the flea. I'm just trying to check here if there's any fresh evidence. So, but now, let's see. David has got some antelopes where he is. Yes, where I am, it's not easy to find the antelopes because there is dangerous predators presence at the moment. So now, let's go to David in Masai Mara and see the alpha lake.
Well, toppies are very unique antelopes in the sense that look at the mothers and compare them to their young ones there. Two very different looking animals, and until they're about 6 months to a year, all the youngsters look very different from their mothers. You see the different colors the mothers got, and you might confuse these to another type of antelope that you call the hartebeest in color. So the fawns are very different from their mothers, and either this is a season for them, because if you look at the young ones, they all look to be the same age. And chances are they must have been dropped at the same time. They don't have a particular breeding season, toppies, I would say. like the wildebeest or the impalas in South Africa. Excuse me, they would breed all around the year. But how cool to see all of them moving together. That must be the mother of that particular one there, and just trying to make sure it gets a proper imprint of the mother, because yes, and Luya in the final control says very good looking calves there. And what would happen is sometimes the calves get mixed up, like who is the mother and who is not. So what that particular, oops, don't you have your balance? You must be so young or not very old, maybe what, a couple of days old? See, the mother is still licking at the calf there, both of them. Well, not synchronized way of doing it, but are you feeding or are you looking at your calf there? But oh, very adorable, those youngsters there, or those calves. These are types of antelopes you'll get both males and the females having horns. And sometimes very difficult to tell, more or less the same size, but males slightly larger than the females. So very large grass they're feeding on, and these calves are definitely too young to be able to feed on the grass. Would compare the toppies to a similar antelope in South Africa that's called the sesebe. So these are our sesebes here in East Africa, and toppies would be, you know, very identical, and gestation period the same, weight the same with the sesebes, but we don't get sesebes in East Africa. And very interesting, either this is like a nursery ground for them, or the mothers are bringing their calves together. And again, as I said, how different they are when young. Until 6 months going to a year is when you see them now getting the actual colors, the different blue as you see on the legs of the adults there. So if you see babies of hartebeest, they're very similar to these babies. And if they're put together, it could be very difficult to tell them apart. What a beautiful sighting, eh? And hopefully you don't want to mistake your mother and go nursing to a different mother. I do not know how well they would do this, but again, as I said, it's each mother pulling aside the calf to have a proper imprint. Otherwise, as a mother, you do not want to lose your young one. Toppies are very good mothers. So, oh, this one says they don't have any calves. What are you looking at there? So no calves, you're just chewing cud. So yes, as I said, it looks like a nursery. This one looks exactly like a daycare. I agree with you 100%. So I think they're putting them there, either the aunties, and what would happen at times, you'll see the mothers leaving them with either 1 or 2 fully grown females, or aunties taking care of them, and then the mothers are able to eat, and then maybe they're going to swap. And a daycare, Sarah, fits them as, you know, what we can see here. So the ones, you know, that don't have any calves, you'll notice they're just chewing cud as usual, being ruminants. We can escape. Come again, Lou. That's a very good question we can serve there. And I'll tell you, the animals of this size, and especially the toppies and the congonis, of the four-legged animals, these are the fastest animals we got. But the youngsters, I would guess, they would definitely outrun the lions. The lions are much heavier, much bigger, and I think these guys are small. And they would be swift like the impalas of the Tommies. I would say they would definitely outrun the lions comfortably. Comfortably they would. Definitely they would not want to die. They would take off and maybe just fly low. Lions are a little heavier, and I doubt they would match up the speed of these youngsters here. So the mothers will always make sure they keep them laying flat on the grass just to make sure they blend in very well and to camouflage them away from the predators like lions. If any concern for them now, I would say would be cheetahs. Cheetahs have been known to go for baby toppies, but lions definitely, I don't think they would want to burn so much kilocalories to bring down a small little guy. Unless we got lion cubs which are training or learning how to hunt, they would not bother. In any case, or if anything, they would go for the adult toppies. Very peaceful sighting they got there. Excellent. Again, remember, keep sending your questions through or comments, #SafariLive, and we'll keep sharing this wilderness together. We're going to move on. Thank you, Toppies. May you have a great day and make sure you protect all your calves from the predators. Linda, if these calves grow and become adults, I would just hope they will make it through. So I'm not worried as much as they are young. I would see them making it all the way to the adults and looking good and being able to survive on their own. Okay. Thank you, Toppies. So Toppies are very similar to the Sesame, as I said earlier, but also there's a type, or another type of antelope that we call the hartebeest, that have so many commonalities with them. And from the Maasai Mara, I might be saying goodbye, and Big James might also be waving to all of you and saying hopefully we'll be together again this afternoon. Let's find out what Taylor might be telling us as we close the show for the day. Many thanks, and to all of you, have a good one.
Phew, that was a long link. You're very lucky because we've got a very cool bird that I've not seen for such a long time. Here we have the Retz's helmet shrike. Now, we were looking at the white-crested helmet shrikes a little bit earlier, but the Retz's helmet shrikes are slightly less common. They're around, they're residents, they don't migrate anywhere, but you just don't see them very often, which is really, really cool. So there were about 3 of them, and there was one that was hopping around from branch to branch, and I wonder if it wasn't a youngster that was using its wings to try and balance. It was clearly having some problems with bouncing about on the branches. So that was really nice to see. And they also have a very nice call, quite a sort of gurgly sound. Not the one that you can hear in the background, that's the magpie shrikes doing all the talking. So different in color, more black on them with a very white sort of rump. So that's quite an easy way to tell the difference. And then instead of sort of yellow facial sort of colorations, oh, they're still there actually. And they've got red. Oh, no, I've just pulled my earpiece out. Let me go. A very, very nice bird to see nonetheless. It was a fantastic surprise. Now just resting about again, searching underneath all the bark, looking for any insects that might be just able to hang on, being able to cling to those trees. Although with the marula trees, the bark is quite fissured, so it's quite rough. There are lots of grooves, so maybe it isn't too challenging for the various bird species to be able to cling onto the bark. What a cool morning it has been. Thank you so much, little birds. I hope it's a new one for some of you. But maybe we'll see some more in the afternoon, and perfect timing, all just diving out in the last couple of seconds of the show. But again, it has been an incredible morning. The wild dogs were a fantastic surprise, so a big thank you to Taxon for finding them. He said they just popped out onto Djuma. But wonderful. Thank you, David, and everybody, and James and the Mara, and then, of course, the Bushwalk team. I've seen some amazing stuff, and hopefully we'll find a leopard this afternoon. So join us for the Sunset Safari, but until then, toodaloo.